Hi there, I'm Bryan Mansell from Gazeal. You've probably had some emails from me in the past regarding the 5% Club, a group of elite estate agents suffering from less than 5% fall-throughs, actually not suffering that much. But I wanted to tell you today about some of the reasons why we may not be for you, why Gazeal or particularly reservations may not be suitable for your agency, because they're not for everybody, and that's totally fine. A lot of agents that we speak to that come on and have a chat with us question whether they're too complicated, take too long to do, rejected by solicitors, too expensive, etc., etc. A number of different reasons. And I guess ultimately, you've got to be your own judge. You know your agency model better than I do, obviously, and probably better than them. But here's to give you a few sort of myth busters, if you like, or a few examples of why they may or may not be for you. When we tackle one of the main issues that we are asked about, are they too complicated to understand and get issued? The agreement actually has been designed for the public to use. It's their agreement, not ours, not the estate agents, but the public's. So we provide them in a very quick, and we're talking minutes, digital format, where they can review set terms and conditions of the agreement that, of course, are designed to give people an education about what circumstances that happen could cause the sale to collapse, and do one of them have to pay penalties or compensation if they do. That covers the survey, the mortgage, title and chain. And of course, the thing that really most people don't understand is that our agreement, because of its flexibility, can be amended by the seller and the buyer. They can change the terms if they wish to. They can also add their own terms, which makes the agreement very bespoke, tailored to each individual deal at the whim of the parties involved. Are they rejected by solicitors is another question that we get. The answer is no. Some conveyancers who are literally asked the question, should I sign a reservation agreement, naturally and understandably will take a fallback position of, no, don't do a reservation, because most of the people think that they've got to create them themselves, and of course that could have implications on their PI insurance. So actually, the Gazeal agreement is a private arrangement between the seller and the buyer. It doesn't impact the conveyancers. We don't mind who people use any conveyancer they want, but the conveyancer giving advice to the buyer or the seller about the transaction does not implicate the buyer or seller in terms of their liabilities under the agreement. So they're free to use whoever they want. And when conveyancers understand that, normally after a chat with us, they're absolutely fine to recommend them. The other issue you might have is obviously your own team. Are you guys any good at actually bringing something new in and getting the team behind it to actually move things forward? And that's really up to you. You'll have examples of that in the past, but this is relatively straightforward. Gazeal just simply requires an invitation to the buyer or seller to find out more about the opportunity to make a commitment and secure their sale. We will do the rest. We will pick up the phone, speak to the buyer, speak to the seller, answer their questions. We don't sell it, and let them make the decision, which rightly is theirs to make. Do we want to make a commitment or not to the other side? It's not the estate agent's decision, it's not ours, it's the public's, and that's how it should always be. And fundamentally, the final part of this is, does it take long to get in place? Well, actually, the fastest we've ever issued a reservation to a customer and had it signed by the buyer and seller is 6 minutes. Doesn't take very long to do. We normally have a phone call with both parties. We will then issue the reservation, which they can access on their phone, sign on their phone, and they can run through that process pretty quickly. So we're not in the way of the important part of getting the sale negotiated and sent over. But it may not be for you. You might not like change. That's totally cool. You might think people should have the right to change their mind all the time. And that is entirely cool. And if so, best of luck. If not, and you may have different thoughts now, get in touch with me and I'll be happy to explain more. Thank you.